Well, we bid you welcome. And indeed, we would say to all of you that the moment some of you touched the love within yourself and were invited to project it into the room, some people got scared and they became stressed. Because within your society, it is no longer natural to be loving. Many of you have been taught to be conflictive rather than constructive by parents who themselves have believed that the way forward in life is to defend their position. So you have everybody defending their position all over the place, and on top of that, everybody competing with each other, everybody cutting off a piece of the pie in order to have more of what they already have. Do you not agree? And they have been taught that within your society, the ones who are doing the work in the love are a little bit bonkers, are they not? A little bit bonkers in terms of the airy-fairy situation. So any of you, which is all of you, that feel loving, don't feel secure enough to express it in case people walk around thinking, goodness gracious, that naturopath person, she's a bit bonkers, or goodness gracious, that banker fellow, he's feeling a bit loving, he must be a bit bonkers, don't you agree? Don't go anywhere near him. Or think he's a little bit funny in the head. Or she's a bit funny in the head, don't you think? So everyone puts on a mask of performance. And within the mask of performance, many people have lost themselves, have they not? Have we lost our audience already? We have only been on stage for 5 minutes. Who is breathing and who has stopped breathing? Who recognizes themselves? Don't worry, don't put your hand up. We don't need to know, because basically it is 95% of the population. It is certainly 120% of the working population of any country. That people slide into mass of doingness, they be their doing, and in the meantime, in the search for the grey matter, in the presentation of the doing, so that they can be considered part of the team, people forget the spirit. And yet, within the business environment, within any kind of performing environment, and that includes any job-related situation, it is the spirit that takes you forward. It is those enterprises that connect with human nature or human spirit that are doing well, are they not? Everything else has been deconstructed because the structure of life has changed. The way that life has been, this working no longer works for people. So what people do is that they work to get to the top of the pile, and then they decide they're going to retire and do something else, which is what they could have been doing in the first place had they been working to a different rhythm and a different tempo, because that initial enthusiasm for life that many young people have when they step out of the university or the school of further education diminishes the moment they start work. So that enthusiasm, which is the inspiration, and inspiration is only the spiritual, the inner aspect being expressed with enthusiasm, is quickly dampened by corporations that have generally dehumanized the individual experience. But the world is changing. Business leaders, community leaders are beginning to wake up to the fact that it is pretty unhealthy to dehumanize the individual. That actually makes the company human. But it will take a long time in some industry sectors before this is going to filter down and the companies themselves feel safe enough within their bottom line to create situations which really makes things work for people. Do we understand what we are saying? Does anyone have any comment to make? If you were in charge of your life within your job, let us say, how would you do it differently? Who would like to share some inspiration and insights?
I would make sure that I was always having fun with the people I work with, because I feel like through having fun at work, you increase enthusiasm and energy.
That is so. And what else would you increase? Ideas?
Ideas, yes.
And what else?
Knowledge.
Love.
Knowledge, love, support, community, wisdom. What else? Compassion. That is so. People no longer become cogs in the wheel, do they? They become human again. They have lives. And their inner lives are interlinked with the external life. And what will that mean? It means things get done more quicker. It means that things are prioritized. It means that people give more because they are enjoying. You see. Instead, for most people, it becomes a grind. Most people, particularly the ones that have worked to a high level, find that they no longer have a life. They have sold their lives in enslavement to a corporation or a company that will not allow them to have a life because they have to feed into what is called the bottom line. And many of these people have families that they don't see. They have lives that they don't lead, and they are basically working all the time. And the one thing nobody says on their deathbed is what? Nobody says, I wish I spent more time in the office. But people always regret the same thing. I wish I had spent more time with my family. I wish I had taken the time to do what I really wanted to do. You see? And so there is regret. But the worst thing is they teach their children to do the same. If you want to succeed, you have to throw away your life, give it away, so that you can serve a company. Nobody teaches balance. Do you remember about the balance we spoke about a few days ago, on the Monday? People are afraid. They are afraid if they take time for themselves, they're going to be marked down as obstructive or uncooperative. This is a culture in many major cities in the world that is unhealthy. The secret of the situation is to go back, exactly as you have said, to say, I want to have fun with my colleagues. I want to know who they are, what makes them tick, and how we can add our energies together to create something very special. And because you are working with energy, and everything in life is an energy, energy moves quicker. What else would you do if you were to create change in this situation? Would anybody like to give another insight? That was very good. No more insights?
I think it's interesting to find out what the very, very root cause of things are. So to find a way of positively contributing to the world, to find out what the absolute root cause is aligned with your skill set. How would one go about understanding that?
How would you go about understanding that?
Meditating on it.
And what would be the purpose of the meditation?
Insights.
That is so. That is so. To meditate is one of the best ways to bring yourselves to balance, because meditation connects the breath to the spirit through the breath to the body. And there are many different ways of meditating. The first is to get answers. Another is to bring the energy inward, to be at peace and at one with your spiritual energy. What is your spiritual energy? Do you know?
Well, ultimately it's compassion and love, isn't it?
That is so. And what else is your spiritual energy?
Life force.
It is you. The life force is you, is it not? Is it not you that is connected to the energy of all that is? The one you call God, except we don't use that word, a little bit loaded. In this situation we call it Creator. All that is, the ability to create everything. Life and God and love are the same things. There's no difference. It is all an aspect of your inner space. People, particularly in the West, have a belief system that spirituality is something that you do. Spirituality is nothing at all to do with what you do. Spirituality is who you be. It is you inside, that part of you that is sacred in the correct and authentic understanding of the meaning of sacred as being hidden. Your inner being is golden. Many of you who have worked with the channel have connected to your own golden light, your white light, golden light. That is your core. That is the energy of you, not even at soul level, but beyond the soul. The essence of who you be. And this is the aspect of you that does not die, and the aspect of you that most people yearn to come home to. You yearn to touch that golden light within yourself, the white, the pure light, crystalline light, depending on your essential energy. And that light is what you express. That is the true meaning of enlightenment. It's not just for saints. It's for all of you to touch the light, to be able to express it. And if you remember, light is life and love. Light. To be able to express it, here you have the chakras, you express energy upwards. Just to be yourself. And when you are able to connect to that light, which many of you do here, because you feel tolerance, compassion, support, love, nurture, nature, have all of these. within yourself. This is the peace, spelled P-I-E-C-E, and also P-E-A-C-E, the peace of that you'll take back, and your peacefulness, your fullness of peace, is what people touch. And that is what gravitates them to you, because within you, you are silent. Because you know who you are. You know that you are light. Do you know that the only thing that matters in life is light? Love. Light. 3. Nothing else matters. All things arise as it needs. Because you have a world that is full of rubbish energy. You have a world full of pain. You have a world full of people who have been taught that pain is necessary for growth. Rubbish. Pain is not necessary for growth. Pain is an accelerator to growth, because people put themselves in situations that are so uncomfortable they want to get out, a little bit like a fire in the backside situation. But your societies, many societies have taught that pain is necessary for growth. And so people don't want to grow because they don't want to feel pain. They continue to do what they are doing because they'd rather do that than to go into pain. This is the way the mind works in many of your situations. But if you are able to stay within your own silence and to feel your own heartbeat, and your own heartbeat is one way to connect to your love, because the heart energy, you see. One of the best tools you can do is to sit silent in the office or the restaurant, traffic jam. Listen to the heart. And then you have turned the situation over so that it becomes a source of strength. It is an empowering situation for you, rather than a disempowering situation. But if you were able to stay within your own silence, listening to your own heartbeat, energy flows. Why? It's open channel. You recognize everybody's daily dramas. Everybody has daily dramas. People are not taught to share good news. In many cultures, this is called showing off. People don't celebrate good news, but people listen to people's bad news. People share their problems. Not because they are seeking input, but because this is the way they have learned to communicate. Anything material will arise, but it will also be released into the destruction, into the end, because materiality cannot be permanent. The only thing that is permanent within you, within this world, is your silence. You see. And when you are within your silence, you can hear your wisdom. Within the heartbeat, because it's wisdom of the heart. And wisdom, love, that comes from the wisdom mind, is a very high form of love, because it teaches growth, it shares growth. Growth is what you are all here to experience. You are not here to experience the cycle of birth, death and rebirth. You are here to experience growth. And when you are in the joy and having fun with your colleagues, your family, then that is the energy that you grow, because you are attending to it, you're feeding into it. See? Do you understand what we say? Is it simple?
Some would say beautiful.
That is so. How would you do it? How would you connect to it? Ale.
Taking care of my breath.
And
Myself.
to know already that you are masters. There is no journey to mastery. You are already there, all of you. Each of you have within you a profound innate wisdom. It slides up and down the chakras depending on the aspect of consciousness you need to claim to express in a certain situation. Do you understand what we mean? So the chakras, an understanding of the chakra system, what each chakra represents, which you can get a book, very simple, very nice pictures. You just read it. You don't need to know it for your PhD exam. You just need to know. Because the wisdom slides up and down depending on which energy, which construct you are using. Are you using it in cooperation with your will, I will? Are you using it in cooperation with your expression, with your inner vision, which is your intuitive eye? Are you using the chakras, for instance, from second chakra aspect of relationships? Or building new constructs, new structure of life or work has to be energetically defined before you can breathe into it. The wisdom slides up and down and uses one or two or three in association to create the energy that you're going to be working with. You are all already there. You are all already masters of life. Your challenge, we would say your problem, your difficulty, is that you don't believe it. You see? And if you were to believe it, you would position yourself in your own perception or perspective quite differently. You would go to work from a position of strength because work is working for you. Not you are working for work. Work is working for you because you are in contact with your light. Light energy touches light to create a larger spark. And so with each one that you come in contact with, in any life situation, not just in the office, you enlighten, you breathe into them to grow the light. And the workplace becomes a place of great light and therefore fun to work in terms of the community cooperation. Very different energy there. One coordinated whole. Certain establishments have them, others less so. Certain industries must have them in order to progress. Others are still catching up. You'll know which ones are which. What does it mean for you? If you were the one bringing your light to feed into another light, how does that make your work seem to you? If you were the one holding space for another to grow because of your own innate wisdom, how would that relationship be for you if you knew your own strength? That is self-love. It's the light of love, not just for the personality. Goodness gracious, we forget about personality. It is for the selfhood, that is the essence, your essential self. That is the love expressed outward that you then bring back inwards, so you have a dynamic whole. Energy moves, nobody gets stuck and nobody gets ill. There will be no more traffic jams and everyone is happy. It is possible because you are here. Change happens one person at a time. Change is not somebody directing change. Change happens because each of you accept the wisdom within yourself and accept already your own self-mastery. That gives you a foundation to speak with, to work with, and to create small aspects of change within yourself, so that when you go to work in joy. To meet other little playmates. You have a very good time together. You're bonded, which means the energy has become one. You know each other's stories, backgrounds, hopes, dreams, and also fears. And each of you holds space for the other to feel the safety in doing their work. Somebody is watching your back. You can look fully forward and express the wholeness of your being outwards. And life flows. Because people then, each one is seen. Each one is heard. And each one feels valued. That's the difference in what is happening today. And so when each one is seen and heard, valued, you become fulfilled. So when you want to leave pretty much on closing time to go home to your family, everyone waves you off. No muttering under the voice. Everyone is happy that you are happy because they are happy too. And the whole atmosphere changes. And the best aspect of this situation is that you role model it to your children. Or retrospectively to your parents. And they will then join you in celebrating life together, which is the intent and purpose of life, generally. Does anyone have any questions? Do you all accept what we are saying? Yes? No? We don't mind. We're walking with you anyway. You just have to tune into us. Each of you walks with a profound guide. Each of you has somebody watching over you. You just need to tune in. Find out who they are, connect to the energy, and talk to them. Let them talk to you so that you have your own cherished wisdom within you all the time guiding you. Do you understand? Who is in touch with their wisdom mind, with their guidance? Would you like an exercise?
Yes.
So we were going to return the channel to you, to take you through the journey, and then you can take that back and you have to practice to be very good at it. And all of you will, because all of you are ready to will step out into the light of who you'll be and share this within your communities, and so your communities will become more adequately one of light. Just takes one person to turn on the light. So congratulations. Very good. Any questions after? You can always ask the channel. We will leave you now. Although of course we never really leave you. Please know that we love you. That we always walk with you. And until we meet again, we commit your spirits. Adieu.